can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both
Hi, you're
teams
watching
here.
Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. On the show today, Australia faces heat after losing the World Test Championship final to South Africa. Mitchell Johnson says the Indian Premier League is to be blamed. Aussie captain Pat Cummins addresses the reason they failed to defend the title. More heading your way on that story. Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy, meanwhile, a rebrand of which has come under heavy weather, with critics questioning ECB for doing away with the Proteas legacy. What actually transpired, what happened behind the scenes leading up to the first test that's scheduled to take place in a few days from now, and is renaming the India-England series the right call. Pakistan cricket gets yet another massive strike. Their former coach Gary Kirsten breaks his silence on why he had to abruptly quit and leave. He's exposed the flawed and crippled system that is preventing the sport from reviving. More on this up ahead. And how did the Springboks help South Africa's cricket team to win their first ICC title after decades? The inside story to a heartwarming FaceTime between the rugby and the cricket team captains, all heading your way. But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with football, the FIFA Club World Cup kick-started in Miami. It ended up being a lackluster affair for Lionel Messi's Inter Miami. The home side played out a goalless draw with Saudi club Al Ahly. In another match, Bayern Munich had a dream start to their campaign. The German Giants beat New Zealand club Auckland City 10-0. Many of Auckland's key players didn't participate in the game owing to their part-time jobs back home. Inter Milan footballer Mehdi Taremi won't feature in his side's Club World Cup opener against Monterrey. He's stranded in Iran owing to tensions in West Asia due to the ongoing confrontations between Iran and Israel. The footballer failed to find a flight out to Los Angeles. Mehdi was on international duty last week, where he scored in Iran's 3-0 win over North Korea in a World Cup qualifier. Over to news from Formula One. McLaren duo Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris crashed during the Canadian Grand Prix, which helped other teams grab podium finishes. Mercedes' George Russell won his first race of the season, whereas his partner Kimi Antonelli took his first step onto an F1 podium. Red Bull's Max Verstappen finished second. In news from athletics, Swedish pole vaulter Armand Duplantis broke the world record for the 12th time at the Diamond League meet in Stockholm. Duplantis recorded 6.28 meters, surpassing his previous best by 0.1 meter. Mondo ripped his shirt in a wild celebration following the milestone. And summing it up with news from tennis, Tatiana Maria became the first woman champion at the Queen's Club in over half a century. The unseeded German beat 8th seed Amanda Anisimova in straight sets. The WTA event returned to London grass courts after 52 years. This is the 37-year-old's fourth WTA singles title. The ICC World Test Championship saw a new winner, one who had always come close but kept missing out on an ICC crown. Poignant and emotional scenes erupted across the Lord's cricket ground on Saturday as one team celebrated a historic victory that had evaded them for too long now. And the other, of course, wondered what went wrong. Australia came into this final as WTC defending champions and the favourite to win the title. Pat Cummins was heading into the match as one who had never lost an ICC final. But this defeat has raised many questions and has opened up a wave of criticism. Now, Australia did all they could to stop South Africa, at least try and stop them. The first 2 days belonged to the fast bowlers. If Australia succumbed to 212, they ensured South Africa would not score more than them. The Aussies bundled them up for 138 and would have told themselves this was good. It was a good start and that their own batters would come out and put up a total so daunting that South Africa, the chokers that they are, would definitely falter. Chasing in any final, no matter the format, whether it is in a T20 affair, a test match or an one-day international, it's never easy. The pressure of scoring the runs just do not ease up. It only keeps building. The two batters are solo warriors out there surrounded by the opposition. And this South Africa side, like the ones before, had of course inherited the unfortunate legacy of faltering under pressure. Or so they thought. But watching the captain and vice-captain, Temba Bavuma and Aiden Markram, stitch a memorable partnership, the Aussies realized they had a fight on their hands, that this might not go down so easy for them. So they resorted to what they do best, apart from showcasing their skills on the big stage. They sledged. They taunted and called Aiden Markram and Bavuma chokers. That South Africa were chokers, and that's what they were going to do here at Lord's as well.
While we were batting, we could hear the Aussies using that dreaded word, choke. We got ourselves into the final, and there were doubters as to the route we took. This win squashes that. Here's an opportunity for us as a nation, divided as we are, to unite.
Typical Aussie strategy when things aren't going their way. Sledge and take jibes at the opposition, because that ought to swing the pendulum towards them. Clearly, South Africa showed that they were far adept in shaking off the chokers tag finally, had stuck onto them for decades, than Australia were in shrugging off the sledger tag that they have propagated for decades now. And so came the brickbats. Aussie former pacer Mitchell Johnson, who was anyway trumpeting his displeasure in the way IPL's governing council was trying to persuade other cricket boards to get their players to stay on till the end of the IPL, if their teams went through to the playoffs, that is, now trained his bazooka on his own. He took aim and targeted his compatriots, one in particular Josh Hazlewood, for staying back and playing the IPL final for his franchise RCB.
We've seen concerns about Hazlewood's fitness in recent years, and his decision to prioritize returning to the delayed Indian Premier League over his national team preparations raised eyebrows.
Well, it's a fair allegation in that it is in keeping with the stand Mitch Johnson has taken in this matter that was broiling for weeks now. But the timing is all wrong. You see, Mitch, this should have come out right when Josh Hazlewood and, of course, Cricket Australia by extension decided to stay back and finish the IPL. Not to be addressed after the WTC wrapped up and the test result was there for you to judge. Pat Cummins, first to throw the gauntlet and the first, of course, to also give credit where it is due, put some things into perspective and spoke about what Australia should truly address after this defeat.
We didn't bat out the opposition after a decent first innings lead. After this test match, everyone gets thrown back into the conversation, and it's a little bit of a reset for the first test against the West Indies.
Truth in there, because one of your lead pacers scored only the second 50 in the entire match. That's where the real issue was, that your batters did not put up the numbers. Only Steve Smith and Bo Webster in that batting lineup looked like they knew what was going on out there. And that needs a serious look in. Cummins also setting one thing straight here that many critics and commentators had gone on about, how South Africa had it easy till the final. Their route was relatively an easy one. Cummins said they won fair and square. The only Aussie who probably gave it hard and humbly accepted the mistakes in all of this as well. But a tough road ahead indeed for this beast of a cricket team who find themselves at crossroads again regarding the future of their test cricket side. Indian cricket is on the verge of a new era with Shubman Gill as the new test captain, and his very first challenge is a high-stakes series against England, a classic rivalry that's now been rebranded. The historic Patodi Trophy will now be known as the Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy, a rebranding that has stirred up quite the storm. So what happened behind the scenes and what actually transpired? And is this renaming a fair call? Does it do justice to or diminish the Patodi legacy? Sachin Tendulkar is no doubt one of the greatest icons cricket has ever witnessed, the ultimate ambassador of the sport. So a trophy bearing his name seems like a natural fit, doesn't it? But this rebranding has come at a cost, the legacy of not one but two legends, former India captains Mansoor Ali Khan Patodi and his father Iftikhar Ali Khan Patodi. The Patodi Trophy has honoured their legacy for nearly 2 decades now. So when the ECB announced the switch to name it Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy, it didn't sit too well with the cricketing world and the Patodi family. So yes, the decision sparked heavy backlash right from the moment when news came out that the name would be changed and the Pataudi name would be dropped to now the announcement of what it is going to be named henceforth. And of course, Gavaskar's words echo loud. I hope an Indian player politely declines. But here's the thing, the Pataudi legacy, while rich and impactful and yes, must be revered and respected, belongs to a different era. Trophy names are meant to honor, but also to resonate, to create relevance and grow and enrich the rivalry henceforth and help market a brand, the brand of India-England rivalries. In naming it after James Anderson and Sachin Tendulkar, the ECB is banking on two globally recognized modern legends, icons that today's fans deeply relate to. The fiery battle between the two that has seen some iconic moments on the pitch, be it the swinging conditions of England or the slow and challenging pitches in India. So maybe the idea was to remind cricketers this is what the series represents. A battle between two of the best, a battle between bat and ball. And let me tell you what happened behind the scenes while all of this was on. When ECB was mulling over the change and approached Tendulkar, it's not like the Mumbaiker jumped at the offer right away. He first reached out to Tiger Pataudi's son, Bollywood actor Saif Ali Khan, and only after having a word and clarifying his stance did he give the nod. And Sachin didn't stop there. He's now urged both the ECB and BCCI to keep the Pataudi name alive in the series. A special winner's medallion in honor of M.A.K. Pataudi is in the works, likely to be awarded to the winning captain. So clearly the Indian cricketer is doing what he can in his capacity to honour Tiger's legacy. But here's the big question, is that really enough? The ECB's motive is clear, rebrand the series for broader relevance and of course mass appeal. But can a medallion match the gravitas of a trophy name? Or has the game sacrificed tradition for traction? As the Anderson-Tendulkar Trophy makes its debut in less than 5 days from now, a new chapter begins, the start of a fresh test rivalry. But even as the legacy of M.A.K. Pataudi lingers on through that medal, will it carry the legacy forward or just feel like a footnote? One trophy, two names, a clash of eras and a legacy that now rests between the lines. What are your thoughts? Pakistan's cricket coach for just about 6 months, Gary Kirsten, has broken his silence on just why he left all of a sudden last year, and he's pulled back no punches in highlighting what's plaguing Pakistan cricket. Kirsten has unmasked the politics in the system that drove him away. As Pakistan prepares for the upcoming series against West Indies, they do so by keeping Babar Azam, Mohammad Rizwan and Shaheen Shah Afridi away from the T20 setup. But will another round of panic-driven changes really fix what's fundamentally broken? Because the problem runs much deeper than just players and their performances. And now former coach Gary Kirsten has confirmed what many had long suspected. After months of silence, the 2011 World Cup winning coach has finally spoken out. Kirsten, one of the sharpest cricketing minds in the game, was brought in last year on a 2-year deal to oversee Pakistan's white ball cricket. It was hailed as a breakthrough moment for the sport in the country. But 6 months on, Kirsten abruptly dropped it all and walked away. Now he's revealed why.
It was a tumultuous few months. I realized quite quickly I wasn't going to have much of an influence. I'm too old now to be dealing with other agendas. Cricket teams need to be run by cricket people. When there's a lot of noise from the outside, it's very difficult for leaders within the team to walk a journey.
Kirsten makes it abundantly clear outside agendas are tearing the team apart and affecting the growth of the sport in the country. Now, this isn't how elite sport works. Coaches should coach, selectors select, and players should go out and play. But in Pakistan, bureaucrats are making all those cricketing decisions.
Pakistan cricket is gone now. I think it's because of all the PCB officials running the board. They are non-cricketers, they are bureaucrats. That's why I think they don't know how to go about things like that.
And that's why Kirsten left. Because a coach who helped India win the World Cup back in 2011, took Gujarat Titans to an IPL title in their debut season, wasn't even allowed to shape his own squad.
Once I was taken off selection and asked to take a team and not be able to shape the team, It became very difficult as a coach then to have any sort of positive influence on the group.
A cricket brain like Kirsten reduced to a spectator in his own arena. It's no wonder Pakistan cricket is free-falling. And now in a move that screams short-sightedness, Pakistan may not consider Babar, Rizwan and Shaheen for T20s anymore. Yes, their form dipped, but let's be honest, these are world-class players. Babar Azam, Pakistan's top T20 run getter, second in the world. Mohammad Rizwan, a Mr. Consistent at the top of the order. Shaheen Shah Afridi at just 25 has won PSL with Lahore Qalandars, their third in the last 4 seasons. You don't sideline players like that. You support them and look to rebuild a side around them. And while to Pakistan they are done and dusted, the cricketing world still sees their potential. Babar Azam was just signed up by Sydney Sixers in Australia's Big Bash League. Clearly he's still got it, and it's not just about the statistics. It's about experience, temperament and the ability to handle pressure at the highest level. Things you only get through time in the middle. Just ask Virat Kohli. A year ago, many questioned his T20 mindset. Fast forward to now, he's won the T20 World Cup for India, then of course lifted the IPL trophy with Bengaluru. Experience matters. Pakistan doesn't seem to see it that way, because when decisions come from outside the dressing room, not from cricket minds, you most often lose the sense of the plot, lose sight of what's important. If cricket isn't being run by cricketers, it's not cricket anymore. So here we are, a team with potential being torn apart by politics. A coach the world respects driven out by tying up his hands. Players who could be match winners sidelined without a vision or clarity. And former players issuing bizarre statements.
India is 10 years behind Pakistan and dreams of defeating us and being our equal. Even calling India our enemy is an insult to Pakistan.
Maybe Afridi needs a reminder that India just won back-to-back ICC trophies. When did Pakistan last win one? Almost 10 years ago in 2017. Maybe that's the only way Pakistan is 10 years ahead. If the country wants to rise again, it needs a reset, not just in the squad, but in the system. Let the cricketers lead. Let the game breathe. Because until that happens, Pakistan's downfall will not be sporadic. It will be permanent. South Africa have shut down critics, and how. A stunning win over Australia in the World Test Championship final, and with that, the Proteas have finally shed the choker's tag. Years of heartbreak, near misses and shattered dreams all wiped away as they lifted the ultimate prize in Test cricket. A moment of redemption not just for the team but for a nation fighting to keep the sport alive. Now, while the spotlight has been on skipper Temba Bavuma, vice-captain Aiden Markram, pace machine Kagiso Rabada and their talismanic coach Shukri Conrad, there's one unlikely hero that's emerged behind this triumph. It's another sport, one that is deep-rooted in South Africa's culture, rugby. South Africa is known for its sporting DNA, but rugby holds a special place. The Springboks, as the rugby team is fondly called, have dominated the world stage, winning the Rugby World Cup 4 times, the most recent being 2023. A rather contrasting journey to that of their cricketing compatriots. And while their victories have lifted rugby in South Africa, they've done something else too now. They've laid the mental blueprint for what it takes to be champions. The two outfits, Proteas and Springboks, in fact, recently before the WTC final, trained together to emphasize the stronger together approach. The initiative was forged by the two coaches, Springbok coach Rassie Erasmus and Shukri Conrad. It was to try and take key insights into playing under pressure. Our next story says it all. That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll of course see you again tomorrow. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.